All right, I wanted to do a first look at a wrestling game that hasn't received a whole lot of YouTube coverage. Picked it up in PDF format. It's called the Squared Circle, a pro wrestling simulation game. This is a core book that comes with 1986 Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, which is my home territory and what I grew up on. Not my favorite period for Mid Atlantic, but still loved this time period and was really into it during '86. So the game is has some pros and cons. Probably the biggest pro is the fact that it probably has the best move sets of any wrestling game. I would feel pretty confident in saying the move sets for the wrestlers are the best of any wrestling game ever made. Uh, the creator actually went through videotapes and did percentage based move sets, how often they did it, um, how often they performed the moves, and it really does have a feel for the wrestler. It's a very slow paced game, and if you use the original settings, it's the matches against top talent really take a long time. So I'm using I guess it would be a homebrew variant. The author had even suggested. I think they've been running this between a group of friends for a long time and have made some changes along the way. It doesn't get into storylines as much as I would like. I would have preferred a little more in the book where you roll up storylines, and but this is a little more organic where you kind of come up with your own storylines. You can play it solo. In fact, I'm sure most people would be playing this solo, but it would be awesome if you had a group to play this, and you could have one person kind of being the DM or commissioner uh, that would make some changes. But like I said, most people will probably be playing this solo. So I've made a few changes. This is my I've only had the game 3 or 4 days, but I think I've got a decent handle for it. I've made a few changes. um, this is an Excel helper that maybe at some point I'll release. Basically, what I'll use it to run the numbers, and so I have a little less math to do. And then I have the wrestlers from the PDF, which you can also get in softback or hardback. But I got the PDF version, printed out the wrestlers. I've got the first match set up that I'm going to run through. The dice, basically the way the match works is normally you roll a 1d10 to determine who's going to be on the offense. I like the idea, and it was suggested to maybe run a 1d20. And the reason I went with a 20-sided dice for control is I added in a momentum setting for my homebrew where as a wrestler performs a move, he gets a +1 bonus for each successive time he has control. So basically, he builds momentum, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of wrestling games, in my opinion, miss out on. Is that's a big thing in wrestling is the momentum factor, where a wrestler um, generally puts a couple of moves together um, before the momentum changes, and that's the whole point of um, heating up, and um, that's what makes wrestling exciting. Is when the good guy, the face, is getting pounded down and then makes a big comeback. This at least gives a little bit of that um, flavor where it builds up momentum. Once the other wrestler takes control, the setting goes back to what they would have a one. I also changed one other setting where if a guy gets a pinfall attempt, he automatically has control on the next move. I also like that. That's my least favorite thing about, say, Fire Pro Wrestling, is you'll have a guy, dominating the match, hit his finisher, goes for the pin, guy kicks out 2.9, and then suddenly he has control. Um, so that's the only other major thing I think I've changed. But I'm going to start out on level 3 as opposed to, I'm Not sure my cursor is being captured. I don't think it is. If you look top left on my Excel, there's level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Um, that's basically hit points. They call them power points in this. But basically, if you start out at a little bit lower level, in this case, instead of level 1, I'll be starting at level 3, meaning you're a little deeper into the match. The matches do not take quite as long. And for my first match, I'm going to start out at level 3. Trying to see. So they have different charts that you go to and access if you say throw out of the ring, cheat, tag team charts. If wrestlers tie for control, you go to what's called a wrestling raffle chart. Pretty interesting, different ways that will help you develop the storylines. But so we're gonna do the first match. It's going to be in at the Norfolk Scope, and here is the setup for match 1.
Feel that on me, baby! Because Davy Crockett, right here, is the best black athlete in the world! Pistol Pez Watley, my brother! What? What are you doing? Hey! I'll tell you, black boy! I'll let you know who's
What would motivate a man to do something like that anyway?
Right now, I'm gonna tell you what. Tony Schiavone, yes, you understand, boy, that I've been around here whooping on hillbillies every day. I whoop me a hillbilly for breakfast when I feel like it, and I'm starting off with the baddest hillbilly of them all, Jimmy Valiant. You talk about New York City. How can you talk about the Big Apple when you ain't never had a bite? Let me tell you another thing, Jimmy Valiant. When I get through with you, you gonna understand the whole thing. The story is right. Pez Watley too. I kicked him in the face and spit on him, and I cut his hair. Jimmy Valiant, I'm the baddest black one walking alive. Dig it, sucker!
Alright, so our first match is going to be Jimmy Valiant versus Pistol Pez Shaska Watley. 30-minute time limit starting out on level 3. And I roll two 20-sided dice. I roll a D100 for the move, and then I roll an extra D6 for damage, and that adds to the wrestler's moveset, which is listed. So I'll try to call out the dice roll since I don't have a camera on the dice. Pez Watley, 17. Jimmy Valiant, 14. So Watley will start out. Got a grapple, which is actually really only adds to the time limit. You can see a 30-minute time limit basically is going to translate to 50 moves. Watley grapples him, but doesn't do any damage. We go to the next move. Watley gets a +1, which you see in red there, to his roll, but Jimmy Valiant has control. He's got a 32, which is going to be a punch. And since we're in the 80s, there'll be lots of punches thrown. So the punch is a +7. I rolled a 1, so that's an 8 damage. I'll subtract that from Pez Watley. He's down to 140 power points. And we're 2 moves into the match. Jimmy Valiant with a 1 momentum. Valiant again wins the roll. He has control. He throws Watley into the turnbuckle, does 8 plus 2 more damage. Watley's down to 130. Got a tie in control, so we will go to the wrestling raffle chart. Rolled a 34. Someone comes out to the ring. For now, they're just observing the match. It's the booker's call. If they'll become involved later, at any point. So, perfect opportunity. Paul Jones, number one Paul Jones, comes out to watch Pistol Pez Watley in his match against Valiant. Valiant, if you heard in the promo at the very beginning, talks about how Paul Jones is building an army. So Paul Jones has come out to ringside to possibly interfere in this match, but we'll see. We're 3 moves in. Watley now takes control. He rolls an 18, delivers a forearm for 8 damage, and Valiant is down to 230. So Valiant has a big advantage in power points. Watley maintained control. 35 delivers a punch for 9 points of damage. Watley now has 2 in momentum. Watley again delivers a forearm, does 11 points of damage. He'll now get a +3 to his D20 roll. Valiant reverses it, delivers a punch, 10 points of damage. Control swings to Watley. He gets a grapple. Doesn't do any damage with that. It does take up 2 rounds of time, and we're 9 moves out of the possible 50 before our 30-minute time limit would come to an end. Watley again grapples again. 2 more. Made a little mistake there. Watley now with a little extra momentum keeps control. 47 delivers a punch. 10 points of damage. He's now +4 on the D20. Keeps control. Watley now with a higher headbutt. 11 +3, 14. He's now got a +5 on his momentum. Keeps control. 55. Higher the number, the bigger the damage. Delivers a punch. A lot of damage on that one. 13 points of damage. And Watley is building some serious momentum now. +6. Keeps control. Another punch. This one does 11 damage. 15 out of a possible 50 moves down. Watley keeps control again. 88. Rams Valiant into the turnbuckle. 14 points of damage. He's now got a +8. My other house rule on this momentum idea is a 1 or 20. 1's an automatic loss, 20 is an automatic win. Watley maintains control. Delivers another punch. 120 to 139. Valiant with 139 power points. Watley with 120. Watley again. 72. Delivers a headbutt for 13. Now has a +10. 10 straight moves now. He's going to make, no, he won. Rolls a 1. He's going to lose momentum. Valiant's going to take over. Valiant reverses it. Throws Watley into the turnbuckle for 9 points of damage. Valiant again. Whips him into the other turnbuckle. 12 points of damage. Both still sitting at level 3. Valiant again. This time it's a grapple. Takes up 2 turns, but he's now built his momentum up to 4. We're almost at the halfway point. Valiant, 93. Big roll. He's got the sleeper locked in. That does 21 points of damage. Counts as 3 moves. And now we're going to see if Watley can make it out of this. sitting at level 3. Jimmy Valiant Sleeper is an E. So this will be the equivalent of the referee raising and dropping the hand. Needs above an 11 or above to get the 1. That's 1. Now he needs a 28 or higher. That's 2. Watley's hand drops. If it drops a third time, Valiant will win. Needs a 90 or better. 94 got him. Watley is out. Jimmy Valiant wins with the sleeper. So that's a quick sample. Game 1. Not much of a tutorial since you can't see the whole everything that I'm doing, but hopefully it'll give you a general idea. If you like the game, I think it's on Lulu. Um, he's got a Facebook page that talks about it. He's also got 2 extra supplemental territories. He's got World Class and WWF from the early to mid 90s, or I mean 80s, maybe all the way through the 80s. But anyway, it's an interesting game. Doesn't take long to learn. Um, Better than even some PC games that I've bought. The matches have tell a very good story. So overall, I'm happy with it and probably be looking to add more in the future. Thanks for watching.